Hello, my name is Dr. Nought, and this is the last episode of 80 Days. We are in New York. It's day 67. We're going to stay at the hotel and leave for London the next day on day 68. We just need to get there in 12 days. We'll pass the night here. We pass an anxious night with our 80-day deadline looming. Every sunset seemed to carry extra weight. We took a room and settled in, and I went out to explore a little, only to have someone dip their hand into my pocket again? I did not see the culprit, but my elastic wallet saved the day. Perfect. Alright. Let's go. You know where we have to go? We have to go to London. I don't care if it takes all of your life. Let's go. When's the departure? Oh, jeez. 3 p.m.? That's fine with me, let's go. We left New York aboard the Henrietta, an old Confederate airship converted to a transatlantic mail carrier. We would reach London in 3 days, barring any unexpected delay. Oh my god. I don't like those last 4 words. Our cash reserves seem to be running low, Passpartout. Yeah, I know. Adventurer Fogg expected back shortly. Uh-oh. I'm so nervous, we can get blown off course a little, but let's, The ocean tore along beneath us. I enjoyed talking to no one. There was nothing I needed to know, no one to charm, flatter, or beguile into giving us aid. There was only the wind and the time, and we could control neither. Passpartout, my master demanded. Make us go faster, if you would. This is not a good idea, but I'll do it. I approached the captain. Faster, you say? It can be done, but it would destroy the engines. We want no risk, no danger. Then I promise you, we will be in London in 2 more days. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. We don't need to do anything stupid. Okay. Monsieur Fogg looked out of the observation deck windows with perfect calm, and there was no reason to be concerned. We were safely within our 80-day window. Could not wait to stride into the Reform Club and claim our prize. I spent the remaining time embarking on the writing of this account, though I found already the details of our early adventures had grown vague and indistinct. Look at this. Are we gonna make it? We tethered at the airship dock in Hyde Park and felt for the first time in 70 days the feel of English soil under our shoes. At long last, we had returned to London and in time to win the wager. No way! Let's return. I seized my master by the collar and threw him into one of the steam carriages idling on the banks of the Serpentine in Hyde Park. To the Reform Club, I shouted. Throwing, let's see. Oh. Let's do this. No. Yes, before ejecting the driver from his seat and taking the wheel myself. I threw a lever and opened the throttle. The driver's curses were drowned by the shrieking whistle of the boilers. There is no need for such unseemly haste, Passpartout, my master noted. But I was a man possessed. The streets of London seemed quaint and old-fashioned as they flashed past my well-traveled eyes. The carriages were mostly horse-drawn, and gas lamps rather than electricity lit our way as we raced down Pall Mall. The carriage barely shuddered to a steam-hissing stop before I dragged my master from his seat and up the steps to the imposing doors of the Reform Club. I released him only when we reached the great saloon where my master's erstwhile friends stood from their chairs, gaping in an attitude of great shock. Monsieur Fogg only straightened a little and said in his calm voice, "Gentlemen, here I am." The room erupted into cheers. I staggered to the nearest chair and collapsed heavily into it, my hands shaking. I realized, as though a spell had suddenly broke, that we had succeeded. My master had won £20,000. With the 4,000 we began with, and our remaining funds, it was a profit of over 17,000, hardly a meager sum. My heart began to beat, and I saw for the first time the grand interiors of the Reform Club. which had no doubt remained untouched since its founding some 30-odd years ago. The most advanced piece of technology within was a gilded clock set upon the mantelpiece. A few club members were muttering about the impropriety of alighting in front of the club from a steam carriage. One of the club butlers was just taking from our case the Viennese Zamber float. To go above the mantelpiece, I think, he murmured. A most fine souvenir of your adventures, Monsieur Fogg, sir. It looked quite fine there, and I smiled with pride. I pushed my way through to Monsieur Fogg, who had nearly been swallowed by congratulatory crowds. You have won the bet, Monsieur, I told him, and seized my master by the hand and shook it, as though we were two equals, and not merely a master and a servant. Monsieur Fogg pressed my hand warmly, and did not remark even once upon the impropriety of my gesture. Indeed, though his cool gaze did not so much as waver or soften, I believe he welcomed the chance to shake my hand. Any gentleman would be fortunate to call you his valet, and you have been a worthy companion to me besides, Monsieur Fogg said. And I knew that, from him, there could be no higher praise. Mr. Fogg, Mr. Fogg, one of the journalists in the crowd cried, interrupting our conversation. What next for the great adventurer Phileas Fogg and his loyal valet, Passpartout? My master looked at me. I returned the glance. I have always wondered what is at the center of the earth. I looked around at the faces of the assembled crowd and quirked an eyebrow. Anyone care to make a wager? Monsieur Fogg refrained from rolling his eyes. I believe, he said, with great deliberation, that tonight I will have supper and go to bed. Come, Passpartout. It grows late. Yes, Monsieur Fogg, I said, and followed. Your journey around the world is complete. Celebrated Englishman Phileas Fogg wins round-the-world wager. Journey completed in 70 days despite the sheer size of the world, exploding Mississippi paddle steamer, and arrest in Vladivostok. We visited 16 of the cities. Favorite transport, trains. Finishing balance, 17,008. 10,000 miles by sea, 10,000 by land. 3,000 by air. 21,000 pounds. Courageous. Flamboyant. Remarkable. Comfortable relations. Alright, there you go. And there's our journey around the world. That's pretty cool. So as you can see, we didn't touch the continent of Africa. We didn't go anywhere in Arabia, India, Oceania, Australia. I don't even know how you get down there in time. We had 10 days to spare, I guess. We kept it to basically the northern hemisphere. So, like, we didn't even go to South America either. So, there's huge replayability here. We can even continue. I'm just curious to see what this is. Continue. Oh, we're restarting again. No thanks. So, definitely, like, I'm wondering, like, if you go straight south into Africa, and then you can jump to, like, India, Australia, South America, and back up, like, can you do that fast enough? Like, that would be interesting to know. So, as you can see, this game's a lot of fun. It's a lot of reading. Big on the storytelling. It's really cool. You can get some action, like the boxing match. Clearly there was no action. It was just all text. But, like, we had an actual boxing match where we had to figure out when to punch, when to defend, and when to jab. So that was pretty cool. So, we did, what, 2% of the text is what the developer said would happen. So, yeah. I highly recommend this game. Check it out. It's a few years old now, but it ages well because, you know, it's got a great story, timeless story. Around the world in 80 days, cyberpunk machines, automatons, you name it. A lot of fun. Alright. Thank you for watching the series, and I hope to see you in another series next time. Alright, take care, and have a good day. Goodbye.